Hi guys, my name is Christine and today I'm talking about what does Think and Grow Rich actually mean? So I'm going to be talking about the book by Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, and basically what Napoleon Hill meant by Think and Grow Rich because, I've said this in a previous video that I made on Napoleon Hill, which was about what I personally thought the secret was in Think and Grow Rich. Because at the beginning of the book, he talks about a secret, and basically I talk about that in that video. So I highly recommend that you watch that if you're interested in that subject. But basically, as what I said in that video, a line that I said in that video is the title Think and Grow Rich. Sounds somewhat like an enigma, like it's a very puzzling title. And it confused me for a very long time as to what does that mean? What does it mean to think and grow rich? And for a while I thought it was like some kind of like metaphysical thing, like, oh, if I just think of what I want, then it would just manifest or something like that. That's kind of like where my mind went to. It went to a very like New-Agey sort of metaphysical thing that you often hear about when people are talking about the law of attraction and the secret and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to tell you today what I personally think, my analysis of what I think and Grow Rich means from actually reading the book Think and Grow Rich and my own interpretation. And this is what I think the point that Napoleon Hill was trying to make. And basically, Think and Grow Rich means you can condition your mind to become wealthy. So basically what this means is that you can basically imprint any message that you want on your mind. So, for example, if you have a very negative outlook on life, like, oh, I'm so weak, I always mess up my relationships, you have like this internal dialogue that is saying all these negative things, then basically what you're going to do is you're going to play out those things in life. You're going to play out your beliefs, what you believe in here. So if you feel like you can't get rich, if you feel like you're always poor and you're never going to get wealthy or whatever it may be, if you feel like I'm never going to achieve my goal or something like that, then that's exactly what's going to happen to you, right? Because that's what you're thinking about. But if you're thinking about like things like that are more positive, like I'm going to be wealthy someday, or I'm going to be rich someday, or it could be something like I'm going to be successful, or it might be something just as simple as I'm going to figure out a way to do this. Now, if you believe that, then that's what you're going to see. That's what you're going to start getting. Now, of course, these things don't happen instantly. They do take time, and you have to remember that the gap in between what you want and your goals is always going to be action. But you need to be really careful about what you're thinking about and what you're placing in your mind. There's a whole chapter in the book about auto-suggestion, which is basically affirmations, have a bunch of affirmations for yourself that will help you feel more successful, that will help you become rich. Like one of my favorite ways to do this with myself, auto-suggestion, is by writing down my main goals every day. Like that's one of my favorite things to do. Like I love rewriting down my goals every single day because it keeps it in my mind, and if it's in my mind, then I'm more likely to act on it, right? So this is what he meant by Think and Grow Rich. Like you have to be very careful about the thoughts that you're thinking about, because everything that is going to happen in your life that you're going to create is all going to start with a thought. Everything that you create in your life is going to start with a thought. For example, let's say you write blog posts, then obviously if you're going to write a blog post, then the idea, the topic is first going to appear in your mind, or you might be reading something and that might inspire you to write a blog post. It all starts here. Like every action you take starts here. So that's another thing that Think and Grow Rich meant. That's what the title means. Like it all starts with the thoughts that you're thinking and your brain and what you are picturing in your mind, in the theater of your mind, shall we say. So I want to quickly talk about affirmations quickly, because this is another way that I've already addressed a little bit, but I want to dive a little bit more deeper into affirmations. Now, affirmations are only going to work for you if these affirmations are backed with feeling. Like if you are sitting there and you're thinking, I am strong, I am wealthy, but you're feeling miserable at the same time, and you've got low energy and you're just sort of being dreary and stuff like that, then those affirmations are not going to be very powerful. Like if you're going to use affirmations, you got to make sure that you are really feeling it and really imagining it. So for example, one of my favorite things to do is to put on some like inspirational music. So these could be like soundtracks from movies, things like that, or it could be like a a pump up sort of like pop song or something about believing in yourself or something like that. And I just imagine my goals and the things that I want to achieve when I'm doing that, and that fills me with inspiration. And therefore, like, it gets more better imprinted into your mind. Like, I can really remember moments of pure inspiration that I've had from listening to music and saying affirmations or writing affirmations down. Like, I can remember those moments really clearly because it was done with feeling. And I feel like when you're going through an experience and you've got a lot of feeling behind it, you tend to remember those experiences more. Whereas if you're just kind of going out, doing your day-to-day activities, kind of like on autopilot with not much feeling, with not much gusto, shall we say, then you're not going to remember them very much. And it's the same with even negative emotions. Like if you're going through a really negative, sad experience, you're feeling it, right? You're feeling it. And because you're feeling it, you're more likely to remember those moments. So, these happen for positive experiences and also sad or heartbreaking experiences as well. But if you want to succeed, and you want to use affirmations as a way to do so, and you want to become rich or something like that, then you need to back a lot of feeling with your affirmations. It's not just enough to listen to affirmations. I mean, they help to a degree because they do imprint in your mind somewhat. But if you want to imprint them more powerfully and you want them to start working more faster, then you need to have a lot of feeling and emotion and a burning desire behind it. Napoleon Hill has a whole chapter. It's one of the first chapters. I think it is the first chapter on desire and why desire is so, so, so important when you're trying to achieve your goals. And I made a video kind of similar to this about motivation. So if you haven't watched that video, then I highly recommend that you do, because I go into it in a lot more detail in that video. But for example, if you want to achieve something, then you must have a burning desire to do it, right? Because there's no point you just, like not having much feeling behind what you're doing. There's no point really, because it's not going to be as powerful. If you're going to do something, do it with all your heart, do it with all your might, and do it with feeling, so that it's more likely to work, basically, if you do it that way. That's what I believe anyway. Like, I feel like if you've got a lot of passion in what you're doing and you're enthusiastic, and you have a lot of desire, and you have that strong feeling of inspiration inside of you, then the work that you do in that state of mind is going to be a lot better than if you were kind of tired and you're kind of uninspired and you're just doing it because it's on your to-do list and you have to do it and you're kind of feeling bad and low and sort of like that. And I've had those days. I have more days like that than not, so I'm not judging anyone who has slow days, has tired days, because I definitely feel those things. The reason why I teach and I talk about these things and I like to share my thoughts on these things is because I need them just as much as anyone who was watching this video as well. Like, I'm not an expert. I like talking about these things because I like talking about these things. I like to be a guinea pig with these ideas and test them on myself. So I'm not saying that I'm an expert on Napoleon Hill or anything like that at all, or an expert on these ideas. So that I need these ideas as well. Like, that's the reason why I know about these ideas so much, is because I really want to imprint them on myself as well. But it's really important, and you're going to do your best work when you're in an inspired state, when you have that burning desire inside of you, when you have that fuel to really help push you forward and do your best work. You're going to do your best in those moments, on those days where you feel truly, truly inspired and have a huge passion for it, a huge fire for it. One of the best ways that you can succeed is either through desperation or perspiration. So desperation means that you're absolutely fed up with your current circumstances and you're going to do absolutely anything possible to achieve your goal, and you're just going to burn the boats basically and say, look, I'm not going to look back anymore. I'm going to do this. I need to do this. I'm going to win. I have to win, because you're in that desperate state of mind. And if you do that, then you are really, really much more likely to succeed, because you're in that kind of desperate state where you just need to succeed. And obviously the other way that I said there is perspiration. And that means if you want to do something and you want to succeed at something, you want to become rich, then you need to work. You need to work hard as you can. Obviously, you don't want to burn out, and you should be working with inspiration and imagination and, bringing a little bit of magic, sprinkling some magic in whatever you're doing, when you are working hard. But, that's another way to do it. It could be long hours. It could be, something really, really mentally demanding of you. But if you have that burning desire for it, then you will do it. You will work. You will do the work necessary if you really, truly want it. And that's what it kind of means for perspiration as well. And I like the fact, and I like the idea of mixing both of those together, that feeling of desperation and also hard work and perspiration as well. So obviously, as well, riches can be anything. Like you might be, reading Think and Grow Rich, not because of you want to become wealthy, although I think that's why most people pick up that book, because of like the money suggesting title. But, riches can be anything. Riches could be, being a great parent. It could be being a great teacher. It could be accumulating something else. It could be the fact that you want to have a nice garden or something. Having a garden, I think, is really... I recently just moved to a place that has a garden, and it's just completely changed my whole world in a way, because I get to go outside whenever I want to, because I did used to live in an apartment, a flat. And now that I have a garden, I just feel like the quality of my life has just gone up so dramatically, because I now have access to nature whenever I want to. It could be the aspiration. That's a form of riches. Having a garden, a nice garden that you can go to whenever you feel like it. That's a form of riches, in my opinion. And there's a good quote by Earl Nightingale, and I'll just read this out to you. And that is, "Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal." And what Earl Nightingale meant by that is if you have a goal and you're working towards it, you are success. You are a success. You have something that you want and you're striving towards it. And the reason why that makes you a success is because a lot of people on the planet aren't actually doing that kind of thing. They're kind of just conforming and doing what everyone else is doing because that's what society tells us to do. But if you have a goal and you're aiming towards it, you are a success. And another thing he said in that program was you can't be... you're not a success when you have made a certain amount of money. You have to be a success first before you make the money, right? And the reason why that is because a lot of us do have this notion of, oh, if that person is wealthy, then they're a success. You have to be working towards that goal first before you get the money, right? And that's when you're a success. You're a success when you're working towards that, not after you get the money. Because if people are only successes when they have money, it kind of feeds into the idea that money can just fall into someone's lap, which sometimes it does, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're a success if that happens to you. You're a success if you're working towards something passionately because you love it, not because of how much money you get. And you can only get money for what you're doing once you've started that journey of actually doing the things, of actually working towards the goal. And that's why I actually also believe that's what it means to be a success. So fundamentally, you have a very powerful brain, and you can imprint on it and you can use it any way that you want to. Imprint thoughts of success in your mind. You can develop plans to become rich if that's what you want. That's how you do it. You use your brain, and you have to close out negativity and the things that are going to stop you from doing that. You kind of have to block out thoughts that are to the contrary, like thoughts of, I'm never going to be a success, I'm never going to be rich, I'm never going to have the money I want. You need to block those thoughts out. Use your mind, right, to block those thoughts out and think about things in a more positive way that's going to fuel you instead of the opposite. That's what you need to be thinking of. That's what Napoleon Hill meant by Think and Grow Rich. You can control your brain to think about things in the way that you want to think about them. And if you want to use your brain to become rich, then you must be thinking in terms of wealth. You must be thinking in terms of, how can I become wealthy? What plans can I do? What action can I take? What are the things that I need to do to become wealthy? Asking yourself that question, and basically becoming obsessed with your goal and with what you are trying to achieve. Because that's how you're going to become wealthy. You need to have your thoughts all consumed with your goal and what you're trying to achieve. And you need to always be thinking about those things as much as you possibly can. Now, obviously, you can't think about these things 100% of the time. But when you're, creating up plans, you need to be really thinking, how can I do this? What can I do? What plans can I make? Who can I get in contact with that can help me achieve this goal? How can I, budget my money right now so that I can have more later on? Like how much money do I need to save? Things like that. What should I invest in? Things like that. You need to always be thinking in terms of that, thinking in terms of the way that you want to be thinking. And that's what he meant by Think and Grow Rich. You can use this to any way that you want. You can use your brain any way that you want. And that's what it means to think and grow rich. You can use your brain to become rich by conditioning it and thinking of thoughts of success and money and making plans and taking action on those plans, working hard, and you will eventually get there. You will eventually become rich if your mind is filled with thoughts of becoming wealthy and taking your mind off thoughts of poverty and things like that and not having enough. So please let me know what your thoughts are on, because this is just my individual analysis of Think and Grow Rich. Please let me know down in the comments if you have any other ideas, if you derived anything else from the title, if you think it's something different, because I'd really love to know what you think about it as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.